do the work of the womb to be passed down. I was thinking about this video because a few weeks ago I was scrolling on TikTok and there was this lady talking about how she would never talk bad about her body out loud, especially for her little daughters. And this like really hit me because she said towards the end of the TikTok she ended up talking about how her her teenage daughter came into her room and hugged her and said thank you for never talking bad about your body because that made me never talk bad about my body. And then and I just thought that TikTok was beautiful. And I was starting to think about it. Usually, in most cases, I feel like it's always the opposite. What I mean by opposite is that I feel like in this like self-development space or anyone who's trying to grow themselves, I think a lot of times we think a lot. Our attention is really focused on us and how are we gonna grow and what's gonna happen when we're at our full potential, or sometimes you can get trapped in that. But I was thinking about this a lot about like generational curses and stuff like that, and how that stopping, it's up to you if you're in that situation and if you want that to change. It either stops with you or it continues. And I was thinking about this a lot because I think about fatherhood a lot, even though I'm hopefully very far from that. I don't want that anytime soon. But I was thinking about how I would want to kind of raise my kids, raise my son or daughter or whatever. And I was thinking about if I want if I want to teach them proper self-love, then I had to learn self-love, or I had to practice, or that's something I had to practice over and over and have that consistently for myself, for that to reflect on my children. I was really thinking about this, and as a baby, we all come in as blank slates. We know nothing. We know nothing. My bad. My phone's on a low battery. We know nothing about this world. We only, when we're young, we can't talk, we can't walk. We just observe. And even when we get older, we know a little older, we know nothing. We're just basically, it's all up to our parents. It's whatever our parents, our guardians, whoever raises us to show us how to live life. And they can only show us what they know. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't take that time with themselves when they're in their youth to grow, to handle their problems. They kind of, sometimes a lot of stuff happens in life, of course. Things happen. You get distracted by school and college and what's cool, going out partying, whatever it is, and they neglect that work. And in doing that, that affects more than just you. And I was thinking about this, like them doing that, it ends up affecting their children, and me neglecting my self-work will end up affecting my children if I don't go and do my work. Because how can I teach my son to stand up for myself if I don't stand up for myself? So I'm just using that example. It's what you do. It's the growth. Your children will reflect how much you've grown as a person, because there's just certain things you just won't be able to teach, because you can't teach someone something that you don't know. And I'll just give an example like this. In my life, sometimes, like when like maybe my little brother or my mom asks me something, sometimes I can be a little like dismissive. And I was thinking, if I start being like this, what if that would just, I used to have that false belief that, you end up growing out of things, but that's not always the case. Some people die before they take their last breath, not growing and not changing and staying the same. So back to my example, if I continue to be dismissive to my little brother, or act like I'm dismissive to them if they're asking me something, what happens when my daughter or my son asks me something and I'm like just dismissive, not on purpose but just flat out because it's just habit, and boom, that just that little thing, oh wow, maybe now they don't feel comfortable to tell me things and stuff like that. Maybe it's being judgmental. That was something I struggle with hearing it, and still now to this day I've gotten way better, but that's something else. Me being judgmental. What if I'm talking to them and I start, and on accident that judgmental side comes out? Now they don't feel comfortable to tell me things. So it's just all these little things. It's really, I was trying to think, it's really up to us as people just to grow. So our kids, it's not even just about kids, like just so much people's not handling their stuff, handling their trauma, it affects it affects the people around you, it affects how you treat people, it affects how you impact the world that you live in and the people around you. So it's important, of course, to grow for yourself, but to grow in general, just to have a better impact on the people around you and people you talk to day in and day out. But yeah, that's what I have to say. I'll catch you on the next one. Leave in the comments what y'all feel about this. Like, what's your thoughts on that?